Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Marriage, Marriage Mornings. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
Good morning, my name is Seth Studley and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today is day 87 of the Infinity Day Marriage Morning Challenge, and today's topic is going for it. And always, it's brought to you by the Ultimate Intimacy app. If you want to increase intimacy with your partner and have fun while doing it, go to ultimateintimacy.com and get the app for your phone.
Awesome. If you are new here, welcome. We have over 100 episodes that are long format. Today is our Marriage Mornings, but we have shows about all sorts of things, expectations, communications, fighting, all of that stuff. So check those out. And you can join us every day live on Facebook and Instagram. That's what we're doing right now. So if you hear us say hello to people, it's because we're talking to people.
That's right.
And you can always join us there every single day.
All right, let's pray. Oh, sorry.
No.
We do 4 things every single time. We pray, we share a past gratitude, we share a future hope for the day, and then a goal for the day. So
you want to pray?
Let's be intentional. Thank you, Creator God, for your blessings. Thank you for all that you have given us. Thank you for our children. And thank you for giving us clarity and confidence and opportunity to do things that are scary, but do them anyway. And thank you for all the support that we have. I pray that you be with our listeners and help all of us receive something from this. Amen.
Amen.
All right. What did I do that you're thankful for yesterday?
Called the ELP, the Dave Ramsey endorsed local provider.
Oh, that's right.
And had him come look at our house.
That's
that
right.
was really exciting, and I'm very thankful because he's like a rock star. And so, thank you.
Yeah, I do good research.
Yeah. You're thankful.
Yesterday, I was thankful for, I'm not sure what happened yesterday because it's kind of blurry, but I'm thankful that you're you.
Okay.
That's my fallback always.
It is.
No, I really am thankful for you.
Yes.
And thankful that you take care of yourself.
You're welcome. My future hope is that today is fun. We've got lots going on, but I really am excited that it will be fun. My goal is to do a bunch of house stuff. We've got a lot going on with the house, but it's exciting. Yeah. So that's my goal.
Yeah, my goal is that too. I have some calls and excited to do those.
And we have a call with Robin and Paul. Yeah. That's going to be so exciting. It's for the show, and they are listeners who are amazing.
Oh, wait a minute, he's just on.
Oh, good morning.
Let's see.
So we're trying to outside.
Sorry.
Okay,
goal. Get stuff done, plan for the week, and be productive.
Slay all day.
Slay all day, yes.
So, tell us why you wanted to talk about going for it.
Okay, because, for a bunch of different reasons, but going for it. So I'm going to ask the listeners, tell us about a time, and this can be rhetorical or you can chime in. Tell us about a time when you were scared to do something and you actually did it, and tell us how you felt before and after, because I see this all the time with our kids, like especially Hattie. She's just like running and jumping, and she's like, Daddy, standing on the counter or whatever, catch me, and she kind of goes up to the edge and jumps, and I see it in her eyes. She wants to do it so bad, and it's so cute. But she has that good afraidness, that good fear. But then she overcomes that and steps out and just jumps. And it's the same thing with kids riding a bike. I know personally when I've been scared to do something, but I've actually done it. Like last year, I did a ton of public speaking stuff, and that was absolutely some of the scariest things. I did a bunch of stand-up comedy things, which are super scary. But I was like, forget it, do it anyway. And I can't tell you how glad I was to do those things. So I want to ask you in real time, tell me about a time when you were super scared to do something, but you did it.
Oh, there's a million examples I can think of, especially leading music at church, because I've always, I used to do that forever at Mars Hill, and we had, 1,000 people in a service, and we had 4 services a day.
Yeah.
And it was I knew that I knew that I wanted to do that. I knew that I had that inside of me to do it, and it was a desire and a passion. But then the actual act of song choice, rehearsal, band members, you have to do all this stuff to make that happen.
Singing, every single person is looking at you.
And following me and making sure I say the right words and all that stuff. That's a thing that I can think of, and really just leaning into, I feel the desire to do this more than the fear is allowing me to stop doing it, if that makes sense. Or the fear makes me want to not do it, but my desire to do it overrides that fear. But I have to let it override that fear, or else I'll just do nothing. But I mean, even my life is that.
Your life? You're scared of your life?
No, going for it. My whole I don't know. We can talk about this forever, because after my car accident when I was 10 and losing my spleen when I was 9. I think that changed how I saw everything, and then everything became how can I not live afraid? Because I'm afraid of everything. How can I not live afraid? How can I not?
Afraid of flying for a long time.
I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid of people dying. I'm afraid of everything. But I don't want to live that way. And so I have to go for it,
Yeah.
And so a lot of things that I do, it doesn't seem like it because people think I'm pretty bold or whatever. Mm-hmm. People think I'm just naturally oh, you just do whatever you want. It's no, I do it afraid. And I work hard to make it happen because it matters to me. Lots of people have responded to let's read their responses.
Yeah, going from outside.
No, that's not Paul's. Go up. Oh,
no.
Seth.
You
I didn't touch
my
anything.
Finger.
There.
Okay, married over 24 years.
No, you're not reading anything. So you asked the question.
Right.
What is something that you've done afraid?
Okay.
We have leaving my abusive husband. That is huge. We had someone talked about.
Hey Devin, what's up, buddy?
Hello.
Elizabeth Ham.
Writing about my marriage. Mm-hmm. Or anytime I have ever written a blog post. That's a big one because when we started the podcast, it was you're just putting
you're putting everything out there
and people can be really mean about it and judgy.
Yeah, but I think that we're continuing. Hey Devin, I want Devin. Devin's one of my best friends from a super long time ago. We're asking tell me about a time you did something scary, but you did it anyway. You went for it, and I want to know your perspective because we got.
Devin sang at our Chicago event.
Yeah, and so I think what a lot of people are typing in from Instagram Live is doing something, wanting to do something, having the desire, then having the doubt, and then stepping into it, stepping into the unknown, kind of being, scared as heck about it. But it sounds like, and people haven't given responses yet, was it worth it? Mm-hmm. Was it worth it?
Here, read that one.
Okay, taking on the role of being the spiritual leader in our home was very intimidating, but I just asked my wife if she would start praying with me. She loved the idea, and we started to lose connection and the
thing.
Okay. Yeah, so that's really scary, taking on a leadership role of any kind in the home, at work, for yourself. I think that when the times that I've tried to take on a leadership role at work or anywhere else, I had to believe it in my own self before. It's I always say, if I don't have something, I can't give it. Mm-hmm. So we have to believe and see that in our own selves before we can step out. Like Devin, if you thought you weren't a good singer, you'd have a really hard time.
Devin isn't a good singer. Just kidding.
You'd have a really hard time stepping on stage and singing. But because you've done it so much now, it's just easy for you. Like this podcast, we're on day 87. I think we've gotten the hang of it, kind of. Mm-hmm. It's kind of goofy, but it's much more flowy and just awesome now than it was 200 episodes ago. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't think that's what you were going to say, but sure.
Okay. Talk while I read here.
I can't.
Mm-hmm. I always had a what-if mentality, so I wouldn't take chances. It was so bad. I was instilling that mentality in my children and had to change that for them.
That's huge.
100% right, because our kids are going to... what there's more call than talk. Our kids are going to catch our insecurities. Mm-hmm. Oh, why does mom do that? Why is she scared of flying? Why does dad do that?
Yeah, that's a huge part of why I'm saying so much of my life is doing everything afraid and going for what I know is the right thing to do, because I did see that I was instilling that in our kids. I was definitely instilling the everything will go bad. What's dumb about this situation? Blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. If I didn't choose to live a different way, I was literally implanting that into our children, and I could see the fruit that I did not want in them. It was already beginning to sort of sprout, which was terrible.
Yeah.
And so that is a huge, especially how to impact your kids is huge.
No, this is awesome. So you guys are talking about when I left a small group before and I struggled if it was the right decision. Once I do it and how I see it's better. Elizabeth's saying pushing through the fear has been really rewarding. Homeschooling, missionary teaching. Paul said going down to one income to foster, to adopt, that was crazy scary.
Yeah.
I can't.
And even Elizabeth says starting my own business. That's a huge one.
Yeah. So I think the overall thing of what we're all saying, even us, Melanie, is we had a desire, we had a vision, this can be bigger than what it is right now, and it's abnormal, compared to our culture. We're just play it safe, do all this stuff. It's abnormal. It's scary. Other people don't do that. And it sounds like it's been worth it. Going back to work after staying home for 3 years, but my family is better since I work part-time. Yeah, all this stuff. Major things us getting married. Tons of people telling us not to get married.
Yeah.
Right? me going to grad school.
Starting the podcast. I mean, that was huge. Yeah. I had to learn audio engineering. I didn't know what I was doing.
Starting the show, flying to the Middle East alone to speak in a room full of PhDs and medical doctors, and I felt so like, what am I doing here? But I did it and got invited back. Like things that you've done, started this podcast, started a women's thing before this, played in multiple bands, put out records, all kinds of stuff, and I think it's always worth it. And guess what? The pain of knowing that I didn't try is worse than the pain of trying and it not working out. Does that make sense?
I think that, like, even with the last band that I did, I loved my last band, but remember I talked about when it fell apart, it was like this moment of, I realized I needed to go with it instead of fight it. Like, I needed to not be like, oh, I don't want this band to fall apart, and try to keep it together, because it was like I knew that there was something bigger beyond that, and I knew that the band was a thing that I would just learn from. Right. I knew that that's what it was, and which is really weird, because that's not like something I would have normally thought, but it was just like, oh, this is a moment, like the whole thing that's happened with the band for a year, I absolutely loved it, and I learned, and that's all it was for.
Right.
It was never meant to be forever, and that's totally fine. In fact, it's exciting, because then when the door shut on the band, I knew something else was beyond it that was going to be even better, and that was this podcast. Literally, if I hadn't quit the band, I would not be making this podcast. It wouldn't exist.
And we had no idea that when we did start the podcast that we would, hit 1 million downloads as quickly as we could or did. We didn't know that we would start an Infinity Day marriage challenge. We just thought, okay, do season 1, make it sound like Serial, it'll be cool, this and this, and we don't know what's going to be after that. We didn't know that Facebook groups would happen or Instagram Live things would happen. Or are you kidding? The event in Chicago would happen. Like
or Keller.
Keller, or stuff in Dallas, or anything else that we're going to do.
Hold on, I gotta read this one. So it says, counseling with my husband, scared and arrogant, honestly, because I thought it was all him, but felt like it helped both of us. For sure, going to counseling is really, because that's how I was. I was like, everything is Seth's fault. He's the one who messed up. I didn't do anything wrong. Right. I'm not mean.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I have a lot of clients who
think
that way. Like, my husband's the problem, my wife's the problem, fix them. Tell her, or they bring kids to me too. Well, can you just fix my kid? I'm like, well, it's much more systemic than that. You are being a blessing. Thank you for your dedication.
You're so welcome.
Thank you, Ivy. Okay, so today, part of this concept is, so literally 30 minutes before we are filming this, I texted a realtor that we met with yesterday who was fabulous. His name is Philip Rodiker, and I said, okay, Phil, let's go for it. Let's put our house on the market. Yikes, that's
We've
scary.
lived here for 10 years.
We've lived here
all of our
kids
years. Have grown up in this home.
Yeah, owned it. We're still staying in Maple Valley, so we're not like crazy moving around. Melanie is all of our spirit animals.
That is so funny.
That's funny.
I can dig it.
Right? Yeah, I don't know what.
I was just like, did you say a donkey? Get out of here. I was going to say like a phoenix. Fire.
Oh, yeah.
A donkey.
But anyway, 10 minutes before the show, I texted Phil and said, we want to put our house on the market ASAP. And by doing that, scary as all get out, because we've raised our kids here for 10 years, literally, and had 2 of them here. Home birth. No, I'm just kidding.
No, not home birth.
And but selling the house will get us completely out of debt. It will fund a massive emergency fund and a massive down payment on a next house that we may or may not want to.
One. And it'll allow us to travel. It'll allow us to focus on the podcast, to create more events, to have more brain space, to be with our children, to be more present. And it's scary, but also really exciting. It's also really like, if we lean into this with the right attitude and the right mindset, we can do so much more than we've been able to do, in the past. Yeah,
and so who the heck knows? I don't even know. But what did I tell you yesterday? I said, oh yeah, we were having a glass of wine and I cheers, and my toast was, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm
Here's to not knowing.
No, I said I don't know what's going to happen, but here's to going for it with you together, and we clinked, and it was cool.
Our jelly jars.
Yeah,
with
we're
wine
drinking wine out of a jelly jar. And there's this. So Melanie listened to this great book by Kyle Cease. I hope I screw this up. And now I'm listening to it, and there was a quote in there yesterday, and he said, we are limitless, but we are all addicted to fear. And
the fear of what other people will think.
When I heard that, I was like, we are literally limitless. We can do anything, but we're addicted to the not knowing. We're addicted to the fear. We're addicted to the what people will say or think or whatever. And like the times that I've actually let go and done stuff like doing stand up or like flying to Abu Dhabi, everybody thought that was a crazy idea because it was fun, but nobody said, oh, don't. Well, my mom said, be careful. What are you gonna do? And I was like, it's fine, I'm going for it. And it was like the most awesome time, like times that we've like really laid down all our stuff and been like emotionally together have been some of the most connecting times, and the most fun times, traveling and being free and like doing what we want. And I think that like God, Creator, has put all that stuff in us. And it's our job to just let go just to let go of it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard.
Like you said, we are limitless, but we are addicted to fear. You can't read the comments while I'm speaking. We are limitless, but we're addicted to fear. And I think that really applies to our relationships too. The times that I've felt this like really strong desire to not behave in a way that was bad. So I want to be bad to Seth, like I want to be mean to him or be ugly to him or whatever. But then I feel this like internal thing say, don't do that. It's not healthy for your marriage. But then I have to go against the own like fear of doing something different and what that might change. I actually have to go against my own internal thing that says, but if you're nice to him, he might think you're weak or some weird thing that is like literally what my brain is like yelling at me not to do because it's addicted to what it knows. It's addicted to the safety of fear, the safety of not traveling because then you won't die in a fiery, flaming plane crash.
It's comfortable.
It's addicted to, but I don't want my mom to think I'm weird. I don't want my dad to think I'm making a bad choice or my sister to say I'm weird and flighty or whatever. And so I think it relates to doing things that are bold, but also behaving in a way that is bold in your relationships. It's really hard to do. But on the other side of stepping beyond that fear is something so unimaginably like amazing.
Right.
But if you never do it, you never know. And that's the thing. I don't know. I just think of times where I've done something like sing on a stage for thousands of people or say I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's the same thing.
Wow.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just the fear of like, I don't want to do it. I'm folding my arms down. I don't want to do it. And it literally is, all I got to do is do it.
Oh,
and then it changes everything.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right? And I think that's like our move to, selling the home. We could drag our feet for another 10 years. A lot of people do. Or we can say, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And if I do this, it will change a lot of things.
Right.
Some might be scary or weird or different. But a lot might be
scary,
a lot better.
It's going to be weird. And it's going to be a lot of hard work. And I'm just thinking like all the crap that we have to sell and go through excited. And like I'm really excited about it too, and I know that I'm gonna get pissed here and like annoyed and irritated at this stuff and be like,
I'll just give you a hug when you get angry.
Hey, that's a good idea.
That's what I've been doing.
I know.
Lately.
Thank you.
Which is new for me.
That's
and
my
scary.
That's my thankfulness.
Your gratitude.
My gratitude. Yeah.
But anyway, we just wanted to talk about this idea and how it looks in your own lives and what it means for your relationships, how it applies to big choices, but then also just little interactions with your partner and even with yourself, like how you think about your own behaviors and choices you make for yourself, like dieting or working out or drinking smoothies and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But tough, don't get in our shot.
And I want to say again, Paul and Robin, they're not to call you out, but you guys are doing the 75 thing, and I for real am inspired by like the progress and you sticking to it. I've thought about it. I've listened to those podcasts. I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I can do that. So I'm living vicariously through you. So keep up the good work.
Yeah, it's awesome. They're inspiring.
Yeah.
We'll be talking to them today.
That's right.
So thank you so much for spending this time with us. If you haven't gotten the Ultimate Intimacy app yet, go get it. Go to ultimateintimacy.com where they're amazing. It's amazing. Just the question section alone, conversation starters, is worth it.
That's right.
And if you like what we're doing, please share the podcast, rate and review it. Share it with your friends, all the things. It would be super helpful to us.
Yeah,
and
let's talk about this. I think this is one of the topics that we've had the most interaction on so far because it it applies to all of us, right? Daniel, thank you. That's awesome. And
also, lastly, please send your ideas to us for marriage morning things to talk about. We can come up with ideas, but we love to have input from everybody. And I've got tons. I did some in the women's group, and they came up with awesome ideas. We should do one of the things we should do Sexy Saturday, where we're having Q&A, like back and forth between men and women, the myths that men believe about sex and women believe about sex. And all of those kinds of things. So we can do interactive stuff like that for Sexy Saturday. But just share your ideas with us. It helps us know. It actually really encourages us. This is hard to just do by ourselves. And sometimes we need someone to root on for us and cheer us on.
That's right. So we're all in it together. So, all right, guys. Have an awesome Sunday. I pray that you have a good week and stay rad. Okay.
Stay rad. All right. Bye. Well, I got to end that.